Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. We are coming off the June 25th edition of Monday Night Raw. If you're watching this live, thank you for tuning in, and please spread the word. Share this video on social media, on your Facebook page, on your Twitter page, on your MySpace page if you still have one. I would like to do a few quick plugs. I have 2 New Japan Pro Wrestling tickets available. Anyone out there interested in attending with my group on July 7th at the Cow Palace, email me nodqmisc@gmail.com. By the way, Tony H., I followed you on Twitter. Please follow me back. I would like to send you a message. The other plug I have, the Beach Ball Beanie Belt Combo. I have the NoDQ.com Beach Ball, of course, which is mirrored because YouTube sucks. I also have the beanie here, the NoDQ.com beanie, and then the NoDQ Action Figure Championship Belt. A special offer, limited time only until I run out. $30 for all 3. Email me nodqmisc@gmail.com. Now, let's move on to the Raw review. I thought Raw was, other than one segment, a fairly lackluster show yet again this week. Let's go ahead and break it down. It opened with Kurt Angle and Constable Baron Corbin talking about the Extreme Rules main event. Angle was about to announce something regarding the match when Roman Reigns came out and wanted to hear it in the middle of the ring. I guess that was a bigger deal than just hearing it backstage. So as Angle was about to announce what was going on with the match, of course I'm talking about the #1 contenders match for Brock Lesnar's Universal title, we had Bob Lashley come out. So, of course, typical Raw with the interruptions during the WWE does not want to mention the fact that Lashley was working with Donald Trump because of the obvious reason. 10 years, and look how far that got him, said Reigns. Lashley fired back saying, you've had all these opportunities and you lost, and maybe the reason Brock Lesnar's not around is because he doesn't have any real competition. Kurt Angle would announce that there's some sort of contract issue between WWE and Brock Lesnar, and that's why Paul Heyman went on Facebook and ranted about Lesnar's contract. So this is the storyline. Once again, there's contractual issues. Is Lesnar going to go to UFC? This is so freaking boring. We've seen this storyline over and over again with Lesnar teasing to go back to UFC. Come on now. It's just old now. Nobody cares. Just get rid of Lesnar or turn him babyface and have Paul Heyman represent somebody new. It's just so tedious. I'm tired of it. Not a fan of the storyline. And I guess now we're supposed to be wondering what the main event is for Extreme Rules. The idea is that it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Lashley at Extreme Rules, and I would presume that the winner is facing Brock Lesnar at Summer. I bring him back. That's the one match you do with Bobby Lashley. Lesnar versus Lashley. The 2 big beastly looking guys. You don't do Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Come on now. Tony H., follow me on Twitter. Offman Rules says, has Extreme Rules ever really been extreme? Maybe 2012 with Lesnar versus John Cena. That one was pretty good. Pretty good. Travis W. says, I cannot be the only one who wants Lashley to win. Okay, so Tony H is following me. Okay, I'll message you later. Eddie Smith is here. How's it going? And Jeremy McGill is here. He says, I'm so tired of Brock and Paul, honestly. That Universal Championship needs to be dropped because it's the least sought after title in all of, not just WWE, but all of professional wrestling. Power Packers 90 says it's WCW Uncensored. And I apologize for botching the name last week, Power Packers. Last week, I had to squint on my laptop to read the comments, and I'm back here home now doing this, and I can actually read everybody's comments properly. Oh, great! Am I buffering again? Gotta love my internet connection. I have no idea why it does this. I'll give it another minute or so. If it doesn't get better, then I'll have to switch to the 4G and hope that works okay. Got a $2 super chat donation from Tony Braden. Lesnar needs a character repackage. I just think he needs to go babyface. And when I mean babyface, I mean a split between Lesnar and Heyman. Have Lesnar go off on his own. It's a simple storyline. It writes itself. Kurapika07 says, have Lesnar come back with a beard. I agree. I thought Lesnar looked like a badass when he was in the UFC and he was sporting the beard. So anyways, let's move on here. The Revival came out, and if you guessed they were going to do a tag team match after the commercial break, you were right. I was right because I pretty much called it on Twitter. So we had a tag team match, yada, yada, yada. Although there was a little bit of a surprise here. The Revival actually won. I believe it was Scott Dawson that pinned Roman Reigns with a fruit roll-up. So there you go. The Revival got a win over Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. The question is, will there be any follow-up to this whatsoever? Will the Revival get a push now, or will it just be forgotten about? Will the Revival not be on television, and will there be no follow-up? Who knows? Speaking of tag teams, you would think that they would have the Revival going for the tag team titles, but no. It's Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt against the B team. We had Matt Hardy versus, I believe it was Curtis Axel, but it could have been Bo Dallas. I don't really care enough to pay attention to it. I know they did a little promo beforehand, which I guess was funny. I do like Bo Dallas. Like I said last week, I do like Bo Dallas imitating his brother. That's funny. He does a good job. And then they were choking on the smoke, which was funny, I guess. But anyways, it was a quick match. Matt Hardy slipped off the rope and Axel pinned him. So, that's fine. Whatever. As long as the B team gets destroyed at the pay-per-view. By the way, kickoff match, I mean, to me, it seems like the perfect candidate for the kickoff, which is sad because the tag team titles should not be on the kickoff. But I feel like of all the matches, this is the one that's going to be the most comedy and the most opening match material. Just my opinion, though. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, all the champions have to look like geeks today. Offman Rules says the commentators' forced laughs ruined that segment last week. They were doing it again this week with the fake laughs. It was annoying. I have to say, it really doesn't help matters when the commentators are told to laugh at something, even if it's not particularly that funny. I did think that it was mildly amusing, though. So this segment was okay. I'll give it a passing grade. Wasn't terrible, but I wouldn't say it was great or anything. Reverend Smiley says Impact and Lucha Underground are the only two good shows on TV now. I haven't been watching Lucha Underground. Impact, I mean, if a tree falls in the woods and doesn't make a sound, you know how that saying goes. TJS says this Raw put me to sleep like Samoa Joe did to Braun Strowman. All right, let's move on here. There was one segment I really enjoyed on this show. We had a 6-woman tag team match And here's another rant, though. Before I actually compliment something on Raw, another rant. We had the Riot Squad backstage, doing their DX wannabe shtick where they're raising hell and being juvenile delinquents. They interrupted a Jinder Mahal photo shoot. So Jinder Mahal's doing nothing right now. He's back to just being a random person in WWE. And what really grinds my gears is, why do we have a heel act antagonizing another heel act? Shouldn't the Riot Squad be messing with a babyface? Why are they messing with Jinder Mahal? I don't get it. Makes no sense to me. Is this supposed to make the Riot Squad heels? Because people don't like Jinder Mahal. So when you have the Riot Squad doing things to Jinder Mahal, how does that further their characters as heels? Somebody explain this to me. I don't get it. And I'm not sure if it was TJS or somebody else, but Kurt Angle's lines backstage when he was with Baron Corbin, or Constable Corbin, were really bad. They definitely felt like a script. It might have been somebody else on Twitter that brought it up. Actually, I think it was. I did retweet that person on the NoDQ account. The lines felt really scripted from Kurt Angle, and I wasn't a fan of it. But anyways, let's talk about one of the few positives on this show, which was the 6-woman tag team match, the Riot Squad. They still have the same music, and you can retweet me. Go to twitter.com/AaronRift. And the day that they change the music or they turn babyface, somebody that retweets that tweet will get a free NoDQ.com t-shirt. By the way, I have some new t-shirt designs coming up soon over at NoDQ.com/shirts. A NoDQ review shirt, a Big G shirt, and a NoDQ debate shirt will be up on the site. And there should be a Pro Wrestling Tees 4th of July sale coming up soon, so stay tuned for that sale, which I'm guessing will be 20% off. Pick up some new NoDQ.com t-shirts. By the way, before I get to the match, I keep delaying here. I wanted to bring up Vader. There was a graphic for Vader at the very beginning of the show, and there was no other mention of him whatsoever. WWE did do a video package for him, but it was only shown on social media. For some reason, WWE could not find time in 3 hours to air the Vader promo. So that was unfortunate. That was a real bummer. Again, I just feel so terrible that Vader did not get the Hall of Fame induction this year or even last year. Just doesn't make sense to me. You knew the guy was living on borrowed time and he could have had that special moment, and he didn't get it. Man, it's such a downer. It really is. It just sucks. But anyways, let's get back to Raw. We had the 6-woman tag team match with Bayley. So here's another, I have to complain again. I hate this. You guys think I love to complain, but I don't. I'd rather be positive. I have a positive outlook on life. I don't like to dwell in negativity. But there's just so many things on this show that bothers me. Okay, so Kurt Angle has an issue with Sasha Banks and Bayley not getting along. Why? Why is this a problem? So many other people don't get along. That's the nature of Raw and WWE. People don't get along. They have feuds. So why is Kurt Angle freaking out over this? And he says there's going to be consequences if they don't get along. What? I don't understand this. Cindy says I cuss when I complain. I would too, except YouTube has an issue with profanity apparently. So I try to stay PG here. Hamp Connell just left a $2 super chat donation. I'm guessing WWE hates bringing attention to dying young. Well, the thing is, Vader was in his 60s and he was heavy. So, I mean, it's not like he died at a really young age and he was in perfect health. I mean, he was a big man. And I mean, you know, I'm a little surprised he lived that long considering his weight. But, you know, I think he should have gotten something considering what he did in wrestling. his accomplishments. I mean, he was one of the top heels for a good 4 or 5 year period in wrestling when you combine his WCW period with WWE. But anyways, back to Bayley and Sasha Banks. The Kurt Angle thing is just dumb. But I liked what happened after this match. Sasha got pinned, and then Bayley just snapped. She completely destroyed Sasha. This was an awesome beatdown. I loved every second of this. Bayley was just beating the living crap out of Sasha Banks, and the crowd was going nuts. The crowd was reacting to Bayley in a more positive manner than I can remember in a very long time. Maybe since Bayley debuted on the main roster. I mean, it was just night and day. The crowd all of a sudden was red hot for Bayley when she beat the crap out of Sasha Banks. So who is the heel? People are obviously very confused still. The way it was done, it felt like a heel turn, and Bayley was smack talking Sasha while Sasha was laid out. It kind of felt heelish, but at the same time, the crowd was reacting to her like a total babyface. And with the announcers, you're never really sure, because is Corey Graves the babyface? Is Michael Cole the babyface? You really don't know, because they flip-flop and root for different people regardless of whether they're heel or face. So you really don't know. I don't know at this point. Logic would tell you Bayley's going to be the babyface because the crowd is naturally getting behind her and they're booing Sasha. So I think you got to go with what the crowd wants. But knowing WWE, they're going to go the way they want to, which could very well mean Bayley's the heel, which is stupid. It's counterproductive, and why go against what the fans want? If the fans are cheering Bayley, Bayley's the face. Easy. Who cares? Why force it on people? Just go with what the people want. How difficult is that? Hamp Kano with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you, by the way, Hamp. I appreciate it. How do you feel about Ethan Suplee inducting Vader into the Hall of Fame? He played Vader's son on Boy Meets World. Okay, this might make me lose some cool points with you guys, but I'm not even that familiar with Boy Meets World. I know he was on that show, but I don't even know who this guy is, so I really don't know what to say about it. I'd like to see Sting do it, quite frankly. And no, San Diego is not Bayley's hometown. It's actually San Jose, which is Bayley's hometown, and that is in Northern California near San Francisco. This was San Diego, right by the Mexican border, very southern tip of California. San Jose is northern, or geographically more like the mid-central part of California on the coast. I think it should be Sting or Mick Foley. I think it's a no-brainer. Sting or Mick Foley, but again, it should have been done this year, should have been done last year. Renegade, I have not heard anything about NXT TakeOver in Los Angeles yet. I believe there were tickets that were available where you could get both nights, and somehow I missed that, so I'm annoyed about that. But otherwise, I haven't heard anything. I just got a $2 super chat donation from Tywayne Burse. MMA will bring back PG-13. Well, if you want PG-13, watch MMA. Look at that CM Punk fight. Punk was bleeding and lots of violence with MMA. So definitely, if you want PG-13, you can watch MMA. They've had PG-13 content for a while now. So anyways, Kurt Angle, the punishment for Bayley for having a conflict with somebody on a wrestling show filled with conflicts. Next week, Bayley has to do counseling. If Dr. Shelby doesn't return next week, this is a complete missed opportunity. At first, I'm like, counseling? You're gonna do a comedy segment now with Bayley? But if Dr. Shelby returns, I might be cool with this. And you have to bring back Dr. Shelby. It's the first thing that pretty much everyone thought when Kurt Angle announced that. You look at Twitter, even Dr. Shelby himself resurfaced on Twitter. You have to do it. You have to bring back Dr. Shelby. Otherwise, this is dumb. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this if there's no Dr. Shelby. Eddie Smith with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Eddie. Despite you not watching Boy Meets World, I'll still support the channel. The added dimension to Bayley's character was long overdue. I agree on that about Bayley. I think like it really did something positive for her because it gives her layers, you know? I feel like being happy-go-lucky all the time, it was kind of one-dimensional, and it's good to see her with a little bit of an aggressive side. But still, the whole thing with Kurt Angle is just silly. Interstate Kyle, and by the way, thank you, Kyle. I'm glad you're feeling well enough to be here in the chat room tonight. Kyle says, this is going to be similar to the Enzo therapy session. Who? Enzo who? Anyways, moving on here. I like Enzo, by the way. I'm just touting the WWE corporate response to that comment. Joey says Dr. Shelby for life. So we had, moving on here, we had Mojo Rawley scheduled for a rematch with No Way Jose. And, of course, this made no sense. But at least we had Rawley come out there and just say, this doesn't make sense. I already beat you once. Why am I doing this again? And he basically refused to do the match. He argued with one of the guys dressed up in the Congo line, and then he sucker punched No Way Jose and then left. So where's the punishment for this? Shouldn't Kurt Angle be angry because one of his contracted superstars refused to do a match? Where's the punishment for Mojo Rawley? Where's the counseling for Rawley for punching a guy and not doing a match? WWE logic here, folks. Hashtag WWE logic. I swear, the people that write for this show just don't put any effort into it. The writing is just terrible. The wrestling is great. The writing is terrible. I mean, come on now. Stephen Osborne, $2 super chat donation. Thank you, Stephen. Just got home. Hope I'm not about to waste 2 hours on Raw. Bro, just watch the YouTube clips, bro. I sound like Vince Russo now. Power Packers 90 with a super chat donation. Hey, Aaron, do you like playing with squirrels? Or plays with squirrels? So I did not even pronounce that correctly. So I remember a SmackDown I went to in 2013, and this was when SmackDown was pretty much just a throwaway show. And I think Cindy, I'm watching YouTube clips. You did not miss much. Cindy, how was that Jurassic Park movie? I'm just curious. Kurapika07 with a $1 super chat donation. Thank you for that, but no comment. Feel free to leave one, Kurapika07. Bailey is cool says, I like the show. I like the segment on the show. Does that count for something? And TGS is just reciting all the commercials. Share a Coke. I hate that commercial. I hate it, hate it, hate it. I shouldn't say I hate it. I don't hate anything. I don't hate anybody, by the way. I have nothing but love for each and every one of you. And even the people that don't like me, I don't hate them. TJS says, nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. That commercial, I intensely dislike. How about that? Kayfabe Candy Ass says, you don't even hate Flo from Progressive? I like that commercial with them singing the Big Jim or whatever his name is. I like that one. Eddie Smith with a $10 super chat donation. Eddie being very generous tonight. Thank you, Eddie. Kurt might be one of the worst GMs in history, kayfabe-wise. I saw some comments about that. People on Twitter were comparing him to Mike Adamle and saying that Adamle was actually in storyline a more intelligent GM. And I'm almost agreeing with those people. I feel like perhaps in storyline, Mike Adamle was a more competent GM than Kurt Angle. And it's the writing. The writing makes Kurt Angle come off like such an idiot. I'm not a fan of how Kurt Angle is portrayed as the GM by the writers. It's not good. Michael Wayne says Kurt Angle equals Mike Adamle. Okay, so he thinks they're equal. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Okay, so let's move on here. I'm trying to think. Okay, guys, help me here with segments. Oh, okay, I remember now. The Authors of Pain are back. Alicia Fox is back. I forgot to mention that earlier. Bayley gave a hug to Alicia Fox backstage. So that was kind of weird if Bayley's turning heel to have her hug the returning Alicia Fox. Unless Alicia Fox is going heel, who knows? So Alicia was in a backstage segment. She's back. Authors of Pain are finally back. They won a squash match. So I guess WWE figured out what to do with them. More squash matches. Why not just do that in the first place? You got me. Moving on here, I talked about the returns. We had another tag team match with, which team now? Oh man, I'm forgetting. I'm blanking out. I know Titus Worldwide came out. Somebody help me here. Which team came out? Or which team did Titus Worldwide come out and confront? Somebody help me here. I'm totally blanking on this. It wasn't Authors of Pain, was it? Now I'm just totally blanking. No Elias on this show, by the way. I guess it was the Authors of Pain. Was it? Yes, it was. Wow. How exciting. Titus Worldwide versus Authors of Pain. Yeah. Oh, and we had more ranting. Thank you, Jeremy McGill. More ranting. We had Alexa Bliss versus Natalia. We had Nia Jax come out, and for some reason there was a big pause. Natalia came out. We had Alexa and Mickie James out there cutting a promo, and then we had Natalia come out, and she had this long pause to introduce who was going to accompany her to ringside. So I don't understand why they did this, because when you do a long pause like that, the fans are going to think it's a return, like somebody that's been gone for a while, like a Bella Twin or somebody who we haven't seen. But no, it's just Nia Jax. So there's a long pause, and then it's Nia Jax. So apparently, Nia Jax is a babyface again. She is the female Big Show. 1 week she's a heel, 1 week she's a face, and you never quite know what to make it from her. Mike B with a $10 super chat donation. How can anyone not like you, Aaron? You're a great man. Side question. Did you watch the Woken Hardy special on the network? I thought it was really good. You rock, Aaron. Well, thank you for that, Mike B. I appreciate it. Apparently, I ruin longtime friendships over petty things, but of course, there are other things that happened, and I'm not allowed to talk about them because I don't air dirty laundry in public. But enough of that. To answer the question here, which I think is much more relevant, I really enjoyed the Woken Hardy special on the network. The TNA footage I found to be really fascinating. The fact that we're finally seeing TNA acknowledged and the Victory Road 2011 match actually showcased on the WWE Network. Very surreal. And it was interesting to see the Hardys open up and own their mistakes. So I thought it was a very interesting documentary, and you know, I give credit to the Hardys for speaking out and for WWE airing it and exposing their flaws as people. Very intriguing stuff, and I highly recommend it. All right, so back to Raw, back to Nia Jax being there at ringside for Alexa Bliss versus Natalia. We had Mickie James try to grab the foot of... I'm just blanking out on these names now. This is how uninterested I am in this match. Plus, I have a super chat donation from Power Packers 90. Sorry for the boy meets world joke. We even for pancakes? We even for pancakes, Power Pancakes 90. We are totally even for that. Natty, so thank you for that. See, I'm getting old too, guys. Remember, I'm halfway to 40 now, so I'm getting old here, remembering stuff. Mickie James tried to grab Natalya's foot, did a very poor job of it. It was not a pretty sequence. And then Nia Jax grabbed the foot of Alexa, and this led to Natalya submitting Alexa Bliss. So for those of you keeping score at home, the match is scheduled to be Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. So why is the champion losing to Natalya? Maybe we're getting a triple threat? To me, that's the only thing that makes sense here. If there's no triple threat at the pay-per-view, why is the champion losing to somebody she's not facing at the pay-per-view? I really hope they're doing a triple threat match. Otherwise, this was completely idiotic. I actually prefer a triple threat over a one-on-one match because I'm tired of Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax one-on-one. You might as well change it up. I really hope so. Moving on here. Again, if there's anything I've missed, let me know. I'm trying to think if there's any segment that I did not cover here. It's a 3-hour show. I'm old. I forget things. The main event was long. I know the main event took up a good 30, 40 minutes of the show, the last 30, 40 minutes of Raw. Oh, I got to talk about the tag team match. Let's not forget about that. Thank you, Kayfabe Candy Ass. And now I'll get 10 comments since this chat room delays a little bit. I'll just see like 15, 20 comments here in the chat. We had the tag team match. It was kind of like a wild card match, excuse me. We had Kevin Owens teaming up with Braun Strowman against Constable Corbin, and now I'm blanking on the other guy. Oh man, I need to take notes. I really need to start taking notes on Raw because now I'm blanking out on the fourth person. It was Finn Balor. Finn Balor. I got it before anybody corrected me in the chat. Then here comes Kurapika. Finn Balor with his Fonz outfit. I actually found the old video Virtue posted of Finn Balor's entrance with the Happy Days theme song. Man, does Finn Balor just feel like a nobody right now. Total geek. And I feel like this match did him no favors. He just was a guy, just a random person in this match. Don't care about him. Anyways, we had a count-out finish here. Basically, in a wild card match, the guys that aren't friends were forced to work together. We had Constable Corbin and Finn Balor have their predictable falling out. Baron Corbin was beating up on Finn Balor, and then they both got counted out. So Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman win. Last week, Strowman and Finn Balor were buddies. So I guess this week, they're enemies. I don't know. Don't have a good answer for that one. We had Kevin Owens and Strowman win the match by countout. Owens was happy. He went to shake Strowman's hand, and Strowman gave him a look. So, not the Netflix and chill look, just the look of, I'm going to kill you. So, Kevin Owens ran away. Then Strowman decided to chase after Kevin Owens for some reason. Owens tried to leave the arena with his bags. He went to the outside area, and he discovered that Strowman had taken his car keys and then flipped over his car. Strowman was pissed off at Kevin Owens for whatever reason, and this was the segment. I don't know. I thought it was weak, personally. The whole thing, it doesn't make me care about anybody. I don't care about Owens. I don't care about Balor. I do like Corbin. I like his new gimmick, and I feel like it's hurting Strowman. I really don't care about Strowman right now. And he has the Money in the Bank case, which he doesn't need. Yeah, I thought the whole thing was a mess, personally. It just feels like WWE has no idea what to do with any of these guys. And they're just on a treadmill, creatively. Yeah, I thought it was weak. All right, so let's move on here to the main event now. We had Seth Rollins versus... Oh man, I'm blanking again. Dolph Ziggler, the Intercontinental Champion, Dolph Ziggler. Oh man, I'm just Man, tonight's not good. I need to take notes. I really need to start taking notes. Just imagine me a year from now. I'll be forgetting every match on the show. Literally right after the show goes off the air. I did mention Roman getting pin Virtue. I did mention that earlier on. Maybe you're the one getting senile now. You're older than me. Ziggler still has the record scratch. Again, I have a tweet. You can retweet it. And the day that Ziggler drops the record scratch, somebody that retweets it will get a free NoDQ.com t-shirt of their choosing. So head over to twitter.com/AaronRift and retweet that. Oh, Virtue just wanted me to say Roman again. By the way, Virtue's video where he was protesting against all the Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal haters, that video has gone viral. One of the popular Facebook accounts, Pro Wrestling Spotlight or whatever it's called, they posted it. It got like 15K views. So Virtue's going viral, guys. I'm just mad he wasn't wearing the NoDQ.com t-shirt. That would have been nice, but he had to play his character. He had to get Roman over and wear the Roman Empire shirt in Chicago for Money in the Bank. All right, so actually, Eddie Smith is being awesome tonight, by the way. Eddie Smith with another $10 super chat donation. I know it's kind of off topic, but what do you think the reason is behind the subpar writing in WWE? Is it just laziness, or is it Vince and company just being out of touch and forgetful? I think it's a combination of a lot of things. To quickly answer the question so I can finish wrapping up Raw, I think it's because you have a lot of writers and they're all writing to please Vince. And of course, WWE can do whatever they want. So at the end of the day, the goal is to please Vince, to please the boss. It doesn't really matter if you produce a show for the fans because they're going to keep watching no matter what. It is what it is. All right, so back to the main event. Seth Rollins versus Dolph Record Scratch Ziggler with Drew McIntyre at ringside. Long match, good match. I did enjoy it. I know TGS wasn't a big fan, but I thought it was a very good match for what it was. I wasn't a big fan of Ziggler's tights, though. I mean, to me, they were very distracting, not pleasing to the eye. Just my opinion, though. I prefer his HBK rip-off tights, or his Guns N' Roses style tights, whatever. But I did think it was a good match. Here's my problem. You do a 30-minute match. You have a match with 2-3 commercial breaks, and then you end it with a DQ. If you're gonna book a DQ, at least have a short match so people are not invested. You have people invested in a 30-minute segment and then you do a DQ at the end. That sucks. Do a 5-minute match and then do a DQ so the fans are not invested in the match. I think it's a bad idea. I'm not a fan of it. When WWE does long matches and then ends those long matches in DQs. Not a fan. I thought it was also silly that the referee kicked out Drew McIntyre for interfering, and then Drew McIntyre just interfered anyways. And here's another funny thing. So you would think Rollins is about to win with his finisher, the curb stomp, right? No. Rollins was about to win with the Falcon Arrow. So it wasn't even his finisher. He was about to pin the IC champion with his secondary move, and then Drew McIntyre interferes and saves the title. So what was the point? The referee's authority means nothing. He kicks out McIntyre, and McIntyre interferes anyways. So what's the point? Is Kurt Angle going to do something? Is Kurt Angle going to have Drew McIntyre do counseling now? Is there going to be any storyline follow-up to this with Kurt Angle? God, this show sucks. Man, this was not a good Raw. I hate to say it because I did like the Bayley beat down on Sasha. But I think that was more Bayley than anything else, just giving a good performance and Sasha selling for her. Everything else on this show, the writing was just terrible. Terribly written Raw. And we had Roman Reigns run out at the end too, so in case he did not get enough of Roman Reigns earlier, he was back at the end here, not even fazed by his devastating loss to Scott Dawson, and he helped his buddy Seth Rollins. So I guess another tag team match next week. Woo! We got Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre next week. Yippee! I'm so excited for that one. Whoop-de-freaking-do. TB12 is key, GOAT says, but could you do better? Probably not. I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, it's a hard job, especially when you have 20 writers and you have to please Vince. Maybe some of these writers could come up with something good if they felt like they could have that freedom and they were not handcuffed. You know, people are kissing Vince's ass. They want a job, you know? Oh, man. Okay. That hurt my brain. This show hurt my brain. Letter grade for this show. All right. I liked the Bayley-Sasha breakup and the attack. That was good. Man, I need Dr. Shelby for counseling at this point. I give it C-. Yeah. C-. Below average, but yeah, C-. Sasha and Bayley saved it from a D. I think that's a fair rating. C-. Below average Raw, but not the worst Raw I've ever seen. Woo! What a Raw. Eddie Smith with a $10 super chat donation. Eddie Smith, you are the man, by the way. Drew has legit top heel potential. His look and entrance are badass. I agree. Drew McIntyre is on a roll. And by the way, did you guys see that video from last night's house show where the ring broke and Drew McIntyre went into the ropes and the top rope, I think it was the top rope, just completely fell apart. And Drew totally caught his fall and managed to save himself from becoming seriously injured. I mean, he could have been hurt badly from that, but it's like the guy was able to recover from that unexpected incident really well. Hats off to Drew McIntyre for saving himself from getting potentially hurt seriously in that situation. I was really impressed. I was really impressed with McIntyre being able to save himself from getting hurt there. You definitely have to watch that video if you haven't seen it. It's up on NoDQ.com. TK says, good ring awareness. Absolutely. Virtue says, perfect example of why you grab the top rope when bouncing off the ropes. There you go. Virtue, the man. He knows what he's talking about, guys. Eugene says, the best rant on this show, more rant next week. Well, I think there's a fairly safe probability of a rant next week because I don't sense the writing changing anytime soon. Maybe once the build for SummerSlam gets going, we'll see things pick up a little bit. But Extreme Rules is a total throwaway pay-per-view. What else can I say? Cindy says Jurassic World 2 was pretty good. Me being a girl, I cry in one scene. Hey, I cry in a lot of scenes, but sometimes for different reasons. Sticky B with a $2 super chat donation. As Vince says, you have to eat crap and like the taste. Interstate Kyle says new shirt rift rants. Maybe. There are 3 new shirts coming out, and I got to get a TJS one up too. I did a Big G one. Big Jeffrey has been patient about it. I have a new shirt for him. I'll try to get one up for TGS and Stefan next. I will work on getting more shirts up for you guys. Michael Wayne says, Rift rants on some crappy formula where every opening match segment into a match. Jeremiah Dorset says, Vince is out of touch on PC. Bradley says, SmackDown is the A show as always. Kyle says, TGS is never on video, LOL. Ooh, Kyle is just He's fueling the fire, ladies and gentlemen. He's trying to get on TJS's bad side here. Damn, that was a burn. That was quite the burn. Eddie Smith. This guy is unbelievable. Eddie Smith is the NoDQ superstar of the week as far as I'm concerned. How would you book Dean Ambrose's return? Heel or face? Who's his first feud against? I think he has to come back as a face because the fans will naturally cheer for him being back. I have talked about this, I think, on NoDQ video. I would have him come back, but he's not quite the same. He goes on a losing streak, something is off, and he just gradually gets frustrated. Over a 2-3 month period, I would have it go down similar to Bret Hart in '97. Bret Hart came back, lots of fanfare, really over, but then he starts this downward spiral. Steve Austin gets under his skin, and maybe you could do something similar with Ambrose. Somebody is getting under Ambrose's skin. Somebody's getting the better of him, and Ambrose just slowly descends into Brian Pillman level madness. He finally snaps, and Dean Ambrose becomes the modern day Brian Pillman, a scary, unpredictable psychopath. That's what I would do with Dean Ambrose. If he comes back and he just stays a babyface and he does the potted plants and all that stuff, it's a waste. It's a waste of Ambrose's potential. Offman Rules with a $20 super chat donation. How about this? Offman Rules says, before Eddie, there was me. That is true. Offman Rules has also been a great contributor to NoDQ.com, and he's a guy that likes good pizza. I recommended him a place in New Jersey, and he said he really enjoyed the pizza. So thank you for that, Offman Rules. By the way, the pizza place is Frankenson. For any of you in the Northeast, it's in Parsippany, New Jersey, where my dad grew up. Go check it out if you're in that area. Great pizza. Maybe the best pizza I've ever had. Amazing pizza. TK with a $2 super chat donation. Kayfabe Candy Ass needs a t-shirt with a guitar on it. I like it. What do you guys think about a Kayfabe Candy Ass t-shirt? Would you buy one for Kayfabe? You know, he's a great contributor to NoDQ.com. He needs a shirt. It's been long overdue. I agree 100% on that. I love it with a guitar. We got to make one for him. Definitely. Yes, Frankenson Pizza in Parsippany, New Jersey. Check it out. KCA, don't piss me off. I like it. Maybe a variation of that phrase so Pro Wrestling Tees will prove it, but I do like it. Yes, it's like Oprah. Everybody gets a t-shirt these days. Kyle, you were one of the originals. You got the t-shirt before everyone else, so therefore you're better than everyone else. How about that, Kyle? And for some reason, Stefan is commenting in the NoDQ chat on Facebook, maybe talking behind my back, although he's cool, so I don't think he does that. Bailey is cool, says Chicago has the best pizza. I did like the pizza in Chicago, but I wrote on Instagram and on Facebook, the best food I had in Chicago was this place, I think it was called Smoke K, K-U-E, in Chicago. Great barbecue, highly recommend it. That was my best meal in Chicago, but I did have some really good pizza. It's funny, some people, I saw some comments on Twitter, I think people, maybe it was Facebook, somebody said, hey Aaron, I thought you were vegetarian, and somebody else said, I thought so too. Maybe because I live in Portland, and Portland is known for vegans and vegetarians. I am not a vegan, I'm not a vegetarian, maybe because I'm straight edge, some people thought that. No, I like my burgers, I like my steak, I like my chicken, and I would go nuts without food like that. I wish I could. I wish I had the discipline to go vegetarian or vegan, but I don't have the dedication or discipline to do that. I like chicken too much. I like steak too much. I like burgers too much. I like cow, chicken, all the animals. I love the animals, but, you know, I like meat. What else can I say? Curtis Butler says Portland stereotype. No, it's true. I've been here for 2 years now, and I've met a lot of people just going around various places, and there are a lot of people that don't eat meat in Portland. A lot of vegetarians and a lot of vegans here. It's not a stereotype, it's true. And a lot of people don't drive here either. I mean, Portland is known for having a really good public transportation system, but man, there are so many people here that do not drive. They don't drive, they don't eat meat, and they like their beer. So that's like my biggest disconnect with Portland, because I don't drink alcohol at all, and a lot of people here love their beer. They love their breweries. They love going on those beer. What are they? Those vehicles where people are on a bike and they go from bar to bar. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about, but they're all over the place here. Big difference from LA. I don't see this stuff. At least I didn't notice it as much in LA. Cindy says, so Aaron, prediction video for New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can do one. I don't think I'll be doing one because I'm going to come clean here. I don't know 75% of the people on the card. So I don't think a predictions video would be that informative, quite frankly. Although I might have just as good of a chance of predicting it as a WWE pay-per-view, knowing how I am. Curtis Butler says, I'm moving to Portland, my kind of town. If you like beer, Portland's great. If you like the outdoors, Portland's great. Traffic is bad here, but traffic is bad everywhere. I mean, traffic was horrible in Chicago. That was one of the biggest negatives for me as far as being in Chicago. The traffic was maybe the worst I've ever been in. And this includes LA traffic. This includes Manhattan traffic. I've driven in Manhattan during peak hours. It's not fun. But Chicago, I mean, I went 20 miles and it took me 2.5 hours to get from downtown to O'Hare Airport. I almost missed my flight. Eddie Smith with another $10 super chat donation. This guy's amazing. I love Eddie Smith. He is the man. Come out to Philly and we'll grab some cheesesteaks. First round's on you, LOL. All right. I'll try to one of these days, but to be honest, I don't know when I'll be on the East Coast again. I do want to go to Boston someday and meet up with some people. I mean, I'd like to meet Kayfabe Candy Ass one of these days. But I don't see myself going to the Northeast anytime soon. If I'm going to be traveling again, I will be going somewhere I haven't been before. Lucifer says, how's Portland on marijuana? Portland is one of the most liberal cities in the country, so I think that answers your question. Oh, by the way, if any of you out there are Trump supporters, virtue, do not move to Portland, because I have not come across one person that likes Donald Trump in this city. So if you voted for Donald Trump, you should stay away from the city of Portland, Oregon. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, I think if I'm traveling again, if I'm going to like a wrestling show or whatnot, I'd love to go to Texas, maybe Austin, Texas, or San Antonio, Texas. I know Hell in a Cell is going to be there, but I think that's too soon for me. I really have no interest in like Houston, with all due respect to people that live there, but I've heard Austin, Texas is a cool city. San Antonio, I've heard, is a cool city. Offman rules with a $5 super chat donation. Jersey pizza before WrestleMania next year on me. That would be cool. But from what I've heard, 29 wasn't a great experience with the cold weather. So I'm not sure how I feel about that one. Already left a $20 super chat donation. Already. New person on here. When you come into Seattle, Aaron, I love Bobby Roode, Roman Reigns angle segment on Raw. I think he meant Bobby Lashley, not Bobby Roode. There was no Bobby Lashley, no Elias on this show, by the way. I think I mentioned that earlier. Already, I should be in Seattle for a Foo Fighters show coming up soon at the what is it? What's the place where WrestleMania 19 was held? The baseball stadium. I'll be there. So if you want to meet up, message me on social media and just let me know, and we'll set something up. I will be in Seattle pretty soon. Kayfib Candy Ass says, careful who you out as a Republican. They will be denied meals from tolerant, peace-loving restaurant managers everywhere. Oh, Virtue. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Anthony says, I voted for Trump. I'm visiting Portland. Yeah, Safeco Field. That's it, in Seattle. I just wanted to go to Safeco Field because WrestleMania 19 was there. I think Foo Fighters are playing in Portland, but I just wanted the experience of seeing a show at Safeco Field, just for the fun of it, and just an excuse to go to Seattle. So yeah, I will be there for that show. It's sometime in August, and actually, Daniel Long, if you're watching this, we can definitely meet up again. Maybe that is Daniel Long. I'm not sure. Already, whoever already is, I'd love to meet up with you. Daniel Long, meet up with you too. Anybody in Seattle watching this? There was a couple guys I met last year, Daniel Long being one of them. So I would be up for that. I don't know about a New York City meetup, though. We'll have to see on that one. Maybe one of these days. But I'm not a big fan of the Northeast and New York and driving around in that area. I hate the tolls. I shouldn't say hate. I intensely dislike the tolls. And it's just really confusing driving around in that area. I would like to do like a Las Vegas meetup. That would be a lot of fun, even though I don't drink, so it's not really my kind of town. But a Vegas one might be fun, and it's a popular tourist destination. Of course, LA for Survivor Series weekend, cheap plug, NoDQ.com/Chicago. I would not mind a one in Miami or Tampa, even Orlando. I just did not want to go to WrestleMania. Maybe a different pay-per-view, not WrestleMania. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go to the Rumble in Phoenix. I did do a meetup in Phoenix, which was actually one of the best turnouts for a NoDQ meetup. A lot of people showed up for that one. Something like 35 people came for that one. That would be a lot of fun to do one for the Royal Rumble, but I'm doing Survivor Series, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do something else that soon. What about Atlanta? Maybe. I'm not sure how I feel. See, I'd like to visit the Appalachians, so maybe like Eastern Tennessee, somewhere in that region I would like to visit. Maybe visit Knox County and say hi to the mayor if he wins, Mayor Kane. Interstate Kyle is saying, okay, man, your timeouts are a little questionable. We're having some drama in the chat room, so maybe I should take this opportunity to go ahead and wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. Wow, we've been going for an hour here, so this was a long one. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everyone for the super chat donations, especially Eddie and Offman Rules. You guys rock. I appreciate it. Hopefully some of you can make the NoDQ meetup in Los Angeles for Survivor Series weekend. Tickets are still available, so you could make your travel plans and we could do some fun stuff that weekend. Maybe we could all meet up at Venice Beach or meet up at Santa Monica Pier. I have some ideas I'm floating around. Ken, terminated by Google, wants to keep me going on here for a few more minutes. I laugh my ass off when you keep picking on Virtue. What did I say about Virtue? Republican. Interstate Kyle says, I don't think that timeout was necessary. Caleb Jacobs says, me, I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm proud of it. So Caleb Jacobs is a Trump supporter, but he lives in the rural part of Oregon, so that does make sense. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, good show. This one, not Raw. Offman Rule says, if Aaron doesn't come to Mania next year, I'll do a NoDQ meetup. I might be down for that. Maybe an unofficial NoDQ meetup. I might be open to that idea. Virtue says, too many moderators. We will have to have cutbacks. All right, controversial question here before I sign off. If one moderator has to go, Which one is it? And Kyle, that pretty much applies. He says I'm stereotyping Oregon. I'm not sure if he's talking about what I said about people in Oregon being vegans or not driving. Maybe he's talking about the politics, but in any city, um, in the urban areas, you tend to have more Democrats, liberals. In the rural areas, you tend to have more conservatives, Republicans. Look at the data. I mean, that's pretty much how it is in every state. Even Texas. Texas, cities like Austin are very liberal, but then you have a lot of rural areas, and that's why ultimately Texas is a Republican state, because there's so many rural areas in that state. But enough of that. I'm not really talking politics. I'm just explaining stats, basically. Did the cat make a cameo in this video? Somebody mentioned the cat. I have no idea. All right, guys, so I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. Again, thank you all for watching. Remember, $30, you can get the beanie, the belt, and the beach ball. Limited time, NoDQMISC@gmail.com. If you are going to New Japan Pro Wrestling, I have 2 tickets left. They might be gone by the time you watch this, so if they're gone, I apologize, but it's first come, first serve. NoDQMISC@gmail.com for any of that stuff. NoDQ.com/shirts. New shirts should be available soon. And on that note, I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ Live.